It's an extraordinary pleasure for me to greet all of you at this very special event in my life. A question I'm often asked: did you always want to be a judge? Or, more exorbitantly, a Supreme Court justice? Among school children, it is a favorite inquiry. To today's youth, becoming a judge as an aspiration for a girl is scarcely a novelty. Compare the fall of 1956, when I entered law school. I was one of 9 women in a class of over 500 at Harvard Law School. Women were then less than 3% of the legal profession in the United States. Currently, about half, I'm told a little more than half, of the nation's law students, and more than 1/3 of our federal judges are women. In my long life, I have seen great changes in opportunities for women in all fields of human endeavor. It was exhilarating for me to take part in the movement to free our daughters and sons to achieve whatever their talent equips them to accomplish, with no artificial barriers blocking their way. What enabled me to do so? First, a caring mother, Celia Amster Bader, who made reading a delight and encouraged me constantly to be independent, ready to stand on my own 2 feet, whatever challenge might confront me. Hers was an unusual message for a mother to convey to a daughter in the 1940s. Second, I had the great good fortune to have as my partner in life Martin D. Ginsburg, a man who thought my work was at least as important as his. Marty believed children should have 2 caregiving parents, and he was a super chef. He was my biggest booster. How lucky I was to be alive and a lawyer in the late 1960s and the following decade, when for the very first time in U.S. history, it became possible to urge successfully before legislatures and courts the equal citizenship stature of women and men as a fundamental constitutional principle. Yes, there is a long distance still to travel. Most people living in poverty in the United States and in the world over are women and children. Women's earnings, both here and abroad, still trail the earnings of men with comparable education and experience. Our workplaces do not adequately accommodate the demands of childbearing and childrearing, and we are just on the threshold of finding ways to ward off sexual harassment at work and domestic violence in our homes. I remain optimistic, however, that the movement toward enlistment of the talent of all who compose We the People will continue. As expressed by the first woman appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States, Sandra Day O'Connor, as society sees what women can do, as women see what women can do, there will be more women out there doing things, and we'll all be better off for it. I am especially pleased that the Dwight D. Opperman Foundation established the Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg Woman of Leadership Award to honor women who have strived to make the world a better place for generations that follow their own, women who exemplify human qualities of empathy and humility, and who care about the dignity and well-being of all who dwell on planet Earth. One of my favorite words is the Swedish expression vägmarken, the title of Dag Hammarskjöld's autobiography. It translates as waymaking, waymarking, or waypaving. I think of many waypavers who blazed the gender equality trail and expanded the horizons of women and men. A few of many examples: Belva Ann Lockwood, first woman ever to gain admission to the bar of the U.S. Supreme Court, first woman to argue a case before the court, first woman to run the full course as a candidate for President of the United States in both 1884 and 1888. Dorothy Kenyon, whose mission, among others, was to end the exclusion or exemption of women from service on juries, and Pauli Murray, who opposed racial injustice since her youth in the 1930s, organized sit-ins in segregated lunch places in the district in the 1940s, and in the 1960s exposed what she rightly called Jane Crow laws. I hope that the Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg Woman of Leadership Award, by honoring brave, strong, and resilient women, will prompt women and men in ever-increasing numbers to help repair tears in their local communities, nation, and world, so that the long arc of the moral universe will continue to bend toward justice. And now I would like to say a word about our honoree, Agnes Gunn, a woman celebrated for her enormous caring and generosity, whether promoting the education of children in the arts that make life beautiful, facilitating women's right to determine for themselves their own life's course, or striving to make our criminal justice system less draconian. She has spent her time and resources helping to repair tears in our society. Among philanthropists, she is the very best, the most sympathique, the least self-regarding. I am overjoyed that the Opperman Foundation has chosen to make her the first recipient of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Woman of Leadership Award. May she continue to thrive in her work and days. And now, may I ask all gathered here to join me in a rousing Brava Aggie.